All right, what's up, everybody? Dan here, and this is For Your Mental Health Weekly, where I talk about mental health issues that affect me and affect people around the world on a daily basis. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast version as well, which is on Spotify, iTunes, different podcasting hosting sites, wherever you can find them. So thank you so much for the support. If you can like, share, subscribe, comment, any of those things would be really helpful as it grows the channel and helps me spread my message of mental health awareness. So if you can help me with that, be much appreciated. Today's episode number 19 of the series, and we have a subject that I think is an interesting one, and it's having a short memory and why that's helpful in dealing with issues with mental health. So I think in general, you want to talk about your issues right when they happen, because you're able to talk things out with someone you trust, and gives you more of a peace of mind about yourself, about the world around you. It's like everything's going to be better if you put things out there in the world, not hold it all in. This is certainly true. But what also has helped for me in many instances is to have a short memory and to kind of not really think about what's happened in the past for certain circumstances. Let's not even dwell on that at all, and let's keep moving forward. That's helped me out a lot in different instances throughout my life. That's helped me out a lot in the dating scene, for instance, where, the times I've met with women and trying to have dates and things have not always worked out so well. And so, I try to just have a short memory. It's like, okay, that didn't work out. We're not going to dwell on that. We're going to move on to something else, because it makes no sense to continue in the pain, to continue in the anguish of not having a fulfilling relationship. For me, that has been a monumental help in moving forward to the next person and the next person, because dating is unlike anything else really in life. I mean, it doesn't have like a 2 + 2 = 4 formula. If you put in all the effort and all the hard work and be the best guy out there, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the person you want in as a partner. It doesn't always work that way. The other person has thoughts and feelings too, and they have wants and needs that might be different from your own. And so because of that, it's important to realize that things aren't going to work out all the time. You're going to fall on your face. Most people will when it comes to the dating scene. Or even you could talk about other circumstances in life, like trying to find your dream job, or trying to get your dream house, or trying to find your dream apartment. Like, those things are less subject to chance, because as long as you have the money, or if you put in the work, it's likely you will get the job that you want. Or if you have enough money, you will get, the house you want, or the car you want, or the more material things. But when it comes to another person, it's super, super different, because, they have to agree. They have to be like, well, you know what? I like you too. Let's do this. You can't just be the only person on board, And if you are in a relationship, it's not going to last. It's not an equal playing field. When I have had instances where, things have gone wrong, things haven't worked out, I've tried to just be like, okay, we're going to leave that aside. I guess the word would be compartmentalize in that way, because that's, I think, the general term for what I'm talking about. But yeah, so, something bad happens, you acknowledge it happened, and we're going to move on. We're going to push it aside. It's like, okay, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to dwell on it. You certainly could do those things, and I encourage therapy. I encourage talking to friends and family about your issues and working things out verbally. I mean, that certainly is extremely helpful. But when that, is not always something that is available to you, if you're just by yourself and you're just lost, you're left with your thoughts. From a very practical standpoint, it makes sense to be like, well, let's not think about it. Let's move that to the side in the deepest, darkest corners that we can, and focus on what we can do about the now, about what's happening in front of us. So, for me, that means, still going out and finding more dates, and, trying to talk to, different potential partners out there, whether it's online or in person. it takes courage, it takes bravery to put yourself out there and to put yourself on the line and be like, hey, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I like you. I want to talk to you, and I want to see where this goes. But it's not an easy thing to do. It's definitely not at all. But that's what makes it so rewarding, I feel like, is that when you are able to find that partner you're super over the top, wild and crazy about, or that career where you're like, I can't wait to get up in the morning and go and do this thing because I freaking love the hell out of it. Like those are the days you live for. That's what makes life so profound and so amazing and worthwhile, is because of those things. And so the journey is finding it, is answering the questions, of who's my partner going to be, what's my career going to be, where am I going to live, what's my family life going to be like. The journey of life is answering the questions that plague us the most, the ones that are on our minds a lot. And so when instances happen where things don't work out, you have to keep trudging forward and being like, okay, short memory, we're just going to not think about that too much. It happened in the moment. Okay, great. But we can push it aside and move on. For me, once again, it's been difficult for things that have been a lot more major. I feel like this is a kind of strategy that works better for things that aren't as, I guess, damaging, we'll say, the things that really hurt us the most. Because that requires, for me, that's the losing Chester thing, that has required a ton of therapy and a lot of retrospection and a lot of soul searching to understand what I need to do to go forward to be a healthy and happy individual, without him here. So, I feel like that, having a short memory on certain things is good for, like the more, I guess, the smaller things that happen in your life that you can just kind of put aside, because it happens a lot, like getting, rejected by a partner, or not getting that job that you wanted, or, not getting the place that you wanted to live, those things just, they, if you don't let them go, they'll pile up, they'll stack up, and you have these layers of these little instances of pain and suffering that, that you never really did anything about. I think, maybe it is more of a combination of talk therapy and letting it go. You can talk about your problems, but if you never let it go, it's still a problem. So, I think that if we can really just understand, why moving forward is so important, and, letting things just kind of, go to the side and not dwelling on it is so important. I think we can be a lot better off in general. There's an old sports analogy of, a closer has to have a short memory because, they'll give up a home run and lose the game at the end of the ninth inning. And they have to play the next day. That's baseball. But it's an analogy for life as well. Because you got to get up the next day. You got to keep living, that's the nature of the human experience, is that you get all these days, hopefully. Not everybody does, but, if you are lucky enough to, live a long life, you'll have a lot of moments, a lot of great moments, and, probably a lot of bad ones too. That's just the human experience, right? So, it's the mission of the individual to go live your life and to, make of it an exciting and hopefully fulfilling one. Basically, we want to have a short memory because it helps us out with these issues along the way of life where things don't work out and things are super challenging, and it just keeps happening over and over because you keep trying over and over, right? So, if you are someone who is a adventurous sort, someone who is a resilient sort, you're going to come across a lot of adversity. It's very likely you will, because anything that's really worth striving for is going to take a lot to get there. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard because it's worth it, right? So, whether it is trying to find a romantic partner, or trying to find your dream job, or, trying to find a dream apartment or dream city to live in, dream cat or dog, whatever it is. It's important to know that when those things don't work out, when you do have instances where it's just, it's just a big mess, or it's just painful to really, to think about, let's not dwell on it. Let's not think about it. Let's move on. Let's have that short memory and try to learn from what's happened. I think that's the best advice I could give to you watching this video or listening to this podcast, is to take any instance in your life where you feel pain, where you feel suffering, where you feel regret, where you feel shame, and learn from it. Why did you feel those things? What happened that made you react the way you did? And use that for the future. So that way, when that similar circumstance comes up again, the same situation hits you right in the face, be like, okay, here we are right there again. It's time to face it again. We know what we have to do. We know what we shouldn't do because of how it affected us last time, right? So if we can learn from the things that bring us down, they don't have to bring us down anymore. We can limit how much of it hurts us. We can control how we react to things, and that is a great power to have. If you can work on that, if you can kind of blend that into your daily life, your daily regimen of whatever it is that you do throughout the day, I think we can all be better off if we can do that. So that's the advice I would give, and that's the wish I'd have for you, is to have a short memory for things that bring you down, and use that in your toolbox of mental health weapons. Your arsenal continues to build. My arsenal continues to build for how to deal with everyday life, to deal with trauma, to deal with anything that comes our way. And let's continue on. Let's continue on this journey and face what comes next. To be positive. When everyone else is being negative around you, if you can be positive, that's a real strength. That's a real key to focusing on really good mental health. And if you are struggling with dark thoughts and depression, anxiety, know you're not alone, and that there are weapons there to help you out, to give you strength when you feel like you have none. Let's not dwell on the bad. Let's move forward and focus on the good. Love you much. And that's episode number 19 of For Your Mental Health Weekly. Thank you so much for watching this video, listening to this podcast. Means a lot. Hope you're having a great fall so far. It still feels like summer here in Chicago, so it's not totally fall-ish yet. The leaves are changing on the trees, which is cool. Temperature's still around the 70s, which is still pretty warm for mid-September. So I'm sure that'll change pretty soon into the hoodie weather, and we can have a fun time in the fall. Holidays obviously can be stressful, but let's find the good in that as well going forward. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, follow your instincts. And LYF, love yourself first, mi amigos. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.